Welcome. My name is Lindsay Johnson.
I'm Lindsay Johnson.
I'm Lindsay Johnson. Thanks for watching, and that's your Panther Sports Roundup for this week.
Thank you so much, Grace and Lucas. This has been such an incredible back and forth game so far, and we have seen so many star players show up and show out in this game. For Cal Lou, we've seen Melina Diaz, who has scored 4 of these 6 goals for herself, which is incredible, and has just been playing so great in this game. For Chapman, we've seen players like Ella Seidel, who are continuously able to play an aggressive game and get some points up on the board for herself. And we have been hearing such incredible support for seniors like Lindsay Huss and Annika Carlson. And after Lindsay Huss just scored that last score, we're seeing that the love for these Chapman seniors is really doing great in this game. Thank you so much, and back to you in the booth.
This past week, as we saw him against my favorite team, the 49ers, it was really interesting to see how they had that drive, and he was able to make those long passes, long connections, be able to have that sight downfield. But it was really about being able to convert when you're close to the end zone. That was really one of the big things for Shedeur. And also, you know, in his experience at Colorado State, he was just truly incredible, where in his 2024 season, he threw for 4,134 yards and 37 touchdowns, which is one of the which leads all FBS passers in completion percentage for that season. So you see his incredible expertise, yet it's just been really hard for him to be able to make that across in his, you know, he's only had 2 NFL appearances so far as a starting quarterback. So, you know, 1 for 2 on the wins, just, you know, it's been interesting to see what potential he's going to have.
After their recent gold medal win at the Winter Olympics, some think the U.S. women's hockey team was disrespected by President Trump as he congratulated the men's team, which also won gold. The president invited the men to the White House and said he would also have to invite the women's team. While some people said it was just a joke, others think the comments speak to the fact that accomplishments of women's sports teams are somehow seen as less. At Chapman University, Coach Delaney Benson has been leading the women's lacrosse program for 3 years and is pushing for more coverage of women's sports. I had the chance to speak with Coach Benson this weekend, and she shared that in her career at Chapman, she has seen an increase in viewership in women's sports. She believes the best way to continue showing support for women's sports is simply students at Chapman coming out to watch games. Coach Benson believes more support for these women's sports can be made just right here in the Chapman community. That's the latest for now. I'm Lindsay Johnson, and I'll be back next week with more local sports action.
Really excited to see what this is going to look like with Mendoza at the helm. Next up, one of the other greatest picks is the Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love, was drafted 3rd overall to the Arizona Cardinals, which makes him the highest drafted running back since 2018. So, you know, got a lot of pressure there. Excited to see what he's going to do with the Cardinals this coming season.
It's been a very interesting first half so far. As you know, the Panthers came in hot, putting points up on the board, but Cal Lou has certainly responded. They've been observing Chapman's strategies and, you know, trying to break that strong defensive front that is Zoe Francis. But now we're seeing that we knew it would be a pretty evenly matched game, and here we are coming into this quarter at a tied score of 4. You know, it's really interesting to talk about such a dynamic player like Brian Shigart. You know, he's only a freshman, and after speaking with Coach Joel Callis this week, Callis shared that Shigart is now the full-time goalie for Chapman. After, you know, Jack Duffy has been also an incredible goalie on this team, but right now Shigart is really stepping up to be the backbone of the defense, which is incredibly important for, you know, playing a game like Virginia Tech, because Virginia Tech's strategies is really to focus on their 10-man ride is what it's called, where they like to substitute out their goalie and put him up in the offense to really try to rush the opponent's team. So it's going to be extremely important for players like Shigart to be standing up and make sure that they can provide that strong defensive wall to protect against Virginia Tech's 10-man ride. And so one thing that's so interesting about how you play the game of lacrosse is I feel like you're able to use like aggression in just the perfect way. Like you're able to do it but not cross any lines. What is your strategy behind that?
Back to Simone and Lisa.